What's up, everybody? I'm Mac. I'm with Petty Problems, and I'm super excited to be here with Muse doing an interview and a show tonight. Okay, so really just the scene itself got me really into it. My older siblings introduced me to like punk rock, and then actually going to concerts, I realized like, oh, this is where I want to be. Like, I really fit in with these kinds of people. So just like going to Warped Tour, really introduced me to a lot. And then just meeting people who hosted house shows. So I'd say that there's a sense of like vulnerability that a lot of punk rock has, and that's something I really admire, like rawness and lyricism. And people that, aren't maybe afraid to take on, certain issues and stuff like that. I think political punk also really got me into it, seeing that people were not afraid to say what they wanted about certain things, and that I really admired that. So, I mean, without being too bold, there's not much that I can really change outside of who I am. And so for me, music has kind of always been a personal thing. And so I write a lot about my own experience and the ways that I think I can kind of navigate through anxiety and navigate through, different weird like familial issues or social things like that. And so I wouldn't say that there's necessarily any specific issue that I'm trying to tackle, more so trying to kind of like evoke a sense of change within like myself or any listener that feels like they relate to the situations I'm talking about. Okay, so I would say Against Me is a big one for sure. I would say like Pat the Bunny was definitely a really big one for politics specifically, and then also I think just writing music, like getting into writing music in the years like 2014, 15, and 16, like how could it not be a little political with so much going on in the world, To be completely honest, I haven't put out, any like grand, like, what's the right word, like a magnum opus or whatever, where I'm like really proud of like that recording. But the moments that I've been most proud of are, once again, the community aspects. And anytime that I could like host an event or go to an event and really connect with people, I feel like that's what it's all about. So I'm really proud that my music has been able to take me to those places where I can find like-minded people. So it says This Is It, and basically it represents, doesn't necessarily represent anything. It's more like a reminder that my time here is limited and that I should be doing the best, not only by myself, but for the people that I care about, and to not overlook any of these little things, like any sort of anxiety. Don't let those things get in the way of, being there for the people you care about. I needed something that kind of like would stare me in the face to inspire me a little bit. So I want to reach people who, it's hard because, I want to reach all sorts of people, you know what I mean? Like anybody that I can, but specifically, anyone that feels like very anxious and feels like they don't necessarily like have a place within like their scene or within certain things. I mean, like getting into DIY and getting into punk, it really got me into this idea of like counterculture and like things not being perfect. I want to connect with more people that kind of like respect that, and like this idea of like, let's keep making meaningful art and it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. People who kind of have that same vision. I don't know, I have a song tonight that like kind of does like a call out to like the people who I sing for, so you'll see that. I think that because the stuff that I write is raw, or at least it feels raw to me, whenever I'm practicing or performing, it's kind of like I'm putting myself in a certain headspace, and I'm like using it to release those feelings, or to like try to inspire myself in some sort of way. I don't know, when I first started writing, I would like, I would look at like journal entries or stuff like that and like pick things to talk about. Now it comes like a little more off the top of the head, I guess. But yeah, I would say it's hard not to have it be a cathartic experience when you're writing about personal issues. So, of course I'm excited to, see if anybody out there likes the stuff that I'm making. But I'm also just excited to, meet new people. The Tally scene seems like it's growing a lot, and so definitely a good night to like network, talk to people who are doing shows in the future. Yeah, I don't know. Really, I'm just excited to like talk to everybody. I feel like I've been super isolated. We all have, so I think the show will be really fun to just like see who out there is ready to get into DIY and really start making some stuff. You can check us out on Instagram at Petty Problems Music. We also have a Facebook page, however, more active on Instagram. If you message me, we can get something going. I do have some stuff on SoundCloud. That's under just Mac Burkles.